Hey, back again. Thank you for sticking around. To our guest today, Roberto Griego, mariachi singer here in New Mexico. He's been all over the map, and I'm so glad he made time to stop in and say hello.
Hey, Roberto Griego.
Yo tengo una mujer buena con un grande corazón. Yo tengo un amor sincero con todo su esplendor. Yo tengo una mujer buena con un grande corazón. Yo tengo un amor sincero con todo su esplendor. La mujer que yo más quiero la traigo en mi corazón. La mujer que yo adoro con todo su esplendor. Ella me llegó del cielo con su grande corazón. Corazón, corazón tan pequeño, corazón, corazón de poder. Cada vez que te miro me acuerdo por el mismo suspiro de ayer. Me acuerdo del día en que naciste, nos trajiste felicidad. Todos los angelitos del cielo ya te dimos mucha caridad. Estos ojos tan grandes de arriba Nuevo México, arriba mi estado querido, arriba mi Albuquerque, y arriba con toda su gente, arriba Nuevo México, arriba nuestra Navidad, arriba con Santa Fe, y arriba mi estado popular.
La Maravilla, the Wonder. Roberto Griego is a true household name in the world of New Mexico music. From his small-town origins of San Francisco, New Mexico, and yes, New Mexico has a San Francisco. Blink and you'll miss it, but that's where it all began. A small community nestled in the heart of New Mexico is where he's from. His family relocated to the South Valley right here in Albuquerque when he started school at St. Anne's Catholic Church, but more importantly found out about his early passion for guitar. And like most impressionable young boys, his early guitar heroes were Chuck Berry, Freddie King, and the Beatles. But he always found himself gravitating back to his roots in New Mexico music. After graduating from Rio Grande High School, Roberto, like many young men, served time in the military as a member of the Air Force and the famous Tacos from New Mexico, who were stationed half in Vietnam and half in Korea. So he became a member and the performing group organized by New Mexico music legend Freddie Chavez. How many of you know Freddie Chavez? Another member of that group was well-known Albuquerque sax player Jackie Ayala. The band was good and ended up getting gigs at the base that they were stationed at the Officers Club, the Airmen's Club, and the NCO Club. And after returning to New Mexico, he found himself a member of Manny y los Casanovas and other groups before starting a solo career. What propelled Roberto at this point was his super strong vocal skills, which quickly distinguished him from other singers. Simply put, the man could sing at an exceptionally high level, and so was born a star. In 1971, Roberto began his solo recording career, and to add to the mix, Roberto had become a songwriter. His first two recordings were on a 2-track system. For those of you that do recording and engineering, you know that's just a stereo track, where he recorded his first hit, Un Pobre No Mas, guitar and vocals on one track, and then vocal on the other. Pretty amazing considering it's arguably his biggest hit to date. The flip side recording was another original song which has garnished incredible airplay through the decades, and it was entitled No Mas Pensando. Since then, Roberto has compiled a total of 10 full-length works and 2 successful singles. He started his own record label from the beginning and has only one client, himself. He's always managed his own distribution, bookkeeping, and tour details. He's a one-man band.
And hello again, Roberto.
Hello.
It's good to hear your stories. Yeah, good. Yes, good to be back. I'll have you on from time to time because I know people absolutely love you. And we're going to talk about your friend and my friend, Roberta Frescas, in a minute. But let's finish that thought we started before the break. And that was about the instrument that you first got, the guitar and all of that sort of thing. How was that feeling?
It was great. I started with instrumentals. I would learn instrumentals.
Such as? With the guitar, like Solamente.
Songs that B.B. King would record, like Hideaway. Rather, that was Freddie King. B.B. King was another singer and musician. I started learning some of the instrumentals, like there was a guy by the name of Lonnie Mack that recorded Memphis. And then I learned a few rancheritas and polkas on my guitar. So, but I also wanted to learn how to sing, so I kind of taught myself how to sing. I probably sounded like Kermit the Frog at first, but I kept it up.
Well, that's good. Listening to your music is really, it gets you going. It really does. I mean, just like any mariachi song, but you put a little extra spirit on it, and I kind of like that. So how did you manifest, or how did you develop this style of yours? What is it exactly? You just went with it?
I guess I just I wanted to do something original. I liked remakes. I recorded several remakes, in English, and in Spanish.
Right.
Like I recorded with Mariachi Volver,
Oh, yeah.
I initially didn't want to record it. When my daughter's mom used to tell me, I wish you would record Volver,
Yeah.
with Mariachi. And I said, well, everybody and their brothers done that, Yeah, but I like the way you sing it.
Yeah, sure.
So as a favor, I went ahead and recorded it with Mariachi Tenampa.
Oh, yeah, they're good. Mariachi Tenampa, local group.
Yes, sir.
How cool is that?
That is very cool.
Yeah. So you recorded that song?
And many others with Mariachi.
Yeah. How cool.
Un Pobre No Mas, I did it with Mariachi too.
Wow.
On the album.
Yeah.
And on the 8-track and the cassette. When I went to Phoenix to record with Mariachi Alma Jalisciense, there was a good mariachi there.
Oh.
Yeah. And so I drove all the way up there, and I wanted to, see if they'd be willing to record with me. So I wanted to be, not only did I have it with my guitar initially,
Sure.
which I recorded at John Wagner Studios, and but I also wanted to be the first to record it with mariachi, since I had written the song.
Sure.
And wanted to beat everybody to the punch on that one,
Did you? Of course.
Yeah.
Right on.
And I did several other songs on the first album.
I want to ask you about all those songs that you've recorded, like the ones you're referencing, but you did it at John Wagner's studio.
Mm-hmm.
He's as established.
Just a little bit older than we are.
Yeah, just a little bit older, John. No,
About 30 minutes.
But he recorded some of my stuff too.
Yes, he did.
It's amazing.
I remember going to the studio and you were recording at the time.
Really? You were there? Yeah. Oh, my
Yeah,
God.
I stopped by him there. I don't recall why I stopped by. Maybe because he used to manufacture some of my cassettes or whatever.
Yeah.
But I had a reason for going, and I remember you were in the studio at John Wagner's, and
Did you?
Good.
Did you freak out? Oh my God! What's he doing? Saying, "Go get back to the news, bro."
No, I don't know if you recorded with Tenampa or not.
I did. I recorded with Tenampa. They did some wonderful music
but you
for me.
also recorded with another mariachi, didn't you?
I was really privilege. Let's put it that way, because good Lord, I was just learning really the ropes.
Mm-hmm.
But I recorded with Mariachi Campanas de America. They're from San Antonio.
Oh, my God.
Recorded a Christmas album. Oh, and the one that I really love is the one with Michael Martin Murphy sang. I sang with him, actually. It was his song about New Mexico. The Land of Enchantment, it's called. And
I remember Michael. I never met him, but I remember seeing him on the Tonight Show, playing guitar and singing by himself.
Yes.
That's
Good
when Johnny
for
Carson
him.
was there.
Yeah, and also on CBS, The Late Show with, I've forgotten his name. He's off the air now, but now he's got a big old beard. Oh, gosh.
Willie Nelson?
No. He's got used to have a talk show, The Late Nights. Letterman, David Letterman.
David
Thank
Letterman.
you. Sorry about that. Senior moment. But yeah, he was on the Letterman show one time, and I said, oh, my God. And he sang his Red River. So many songs that he sang. He's really a top-notch singer as well. Cowboy singer, fire thingy. Went on a trip with him one time on horseback with a bunch of other folks.
Oh, wow.
In Colorado mountains. Oh, that was a trip and a half. And I
think
think he still
he
has
used to
those.
live in Taos, I think.
He used to live in Taos, yes.
Does
but
he still live there?
No, he's moved away, and I forget where his wife is from, but that's where he moved, Missouri, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I haven't kept up with him, but we're going to have him on one of these days for sure.
Right.
I'm sure he'll come on and we'll demonstrate that little Land of Enchantment song. I sing it in Spanish, Conocí una señora, I met a lady, he follows up, and mis días de ayer, and he goes, in my drifting days. He did such a good job with that. This is the folks that...
I think I heard it on the radio. Yeah.
Oh, sure you did. And it was played. Plus, the fact that during the Balloon Fiesta, Mary Lynn Roper, who was the general manager and news director at the time, one or the other, and during the Balloon Fiesta, Diane Anderson and I would anchor from the field at Balloon Fiesta. And by golly, she played the song, Land of Enchantment, and they juxtaposed the balloons. Floating in the air with me and him, or him and I singing. It was just a rush to have Marilyn do that for me. And she did about 2 or 3 years in a row of Balloon Fiesta. Thank you again, Marilyn Roper. No, you can't make it without the help of other people. Isn't that right?
That's true. That's true.
A lot of people helped you.
Oh, yeah. Especially, DJs from radio stations and El Valentino from Real del Ocho. Every time I had a new song or a new release, whether it was a 45 or whatever, or I would call him and I said, Valentino, I've got a couple of new songs. He says, okay, if I'm on your show, sure, come on down. So if I did a decent job, my sales would go up,
Sure they would. And you know what? I interviewed Valentino de la O twice already. So he's on the episodes. He's a gentleman and an icon. Are you kidding? He's been forever on the air all over the country on his syndicated show.
Yes.
What was it basically called? Just Valentino de la O. I remember the announcer. And
so the Real del Ocho.
Yeah. And so, he's been on and talking about his life too. Much like yours. It's interesting. It's for posterity for sure. Yeah. A ver qué estaba haciendo Roberto Griego when he was, let's say, 10 years old. Did you get into the music at that age?
No, I started when I was a teenager. I'm guessing I was about 13 when I started playing guitar.
I'll be darned.
And I would spend 7 to 8 hours a day practicing.
See, that's the thing I want you to express.
Devoted. That's how much I love music.
Well, you have to do that, right? You tell the young people who are listening to this, how do I further my desire, my passion for becoming a guitarist or a trumpet player or something, a mariachi, if you will? When's a good time to get into that mariachi thing?
First of all, they have to love music, which is what I did, And then number two, if you love music a lot and you want to get somewhere with it, you just have to rehearse. You have to practice. Again, I used to practice 7-8 hours a day on my guitar. I would learn chords. I would learn chromatic scales. I would, minor scales, major scales. I still don't know how to read. I never learned how to read music, but I would buy the chord books, and they were on diagram form, and I would just pick them up, and I would learn different versions of, let's say, E minor, or I started off with what they call family chords. The major chords, the minors, dominant seventh chords, And then I got into a little more sophisticated chords like major sixth, major seventh chords, augmented chords, diminished chords, ninth chords. Goes on and on. There's no end.
Do you recommend lessons from a professional or just learn on your own like you did, more or less? Did you have all those professional?
If I could afford a professional, I would go that route. In my case, I would afford one. I did take 2 lessons from, because I used to live in the South Valley here in Albuquerque with my grandparents, and I did hear about some guy that was an excellent jazz player, and he was teaching up in the Heights, again in Albuquerque, and I took 2 lessons from him, and then I politely but firmly told him, I can't afford you anymore. I took 2 lessons. I says, you're great, but I can't afford you. So I just went back to teaching myself.
Well, good. I mean, geez, that's even better because you did it the hard way, per se. I mean, sometimes it's not good to be your own teacher because, like they say about if you're your own doctor, you got a fool for a patient or an idiot. But no,
you don't know what you're doing.
yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. But I did get help from, I would share with other musicians. I would they would share their music with me, and I would share my music with them.
Yeah.
So they'd learn from me, and I'd learn from them, and of course the chord books again. And I would buy records, vinyl records, and I would learn them. I would just by ear. I would just learn the guitar parts.
Did you really? Do guitarists really get those calluses? Did you get that problem?
7-8 hours a day, you will get calluses for sure.
So what do you do in between? After they blister up, you got to heal. So what happens?
In my case, I never got to the point where I had blisters, but I did have calluses.
That's what I mean. I mean calluses, and then but you don't stop practicing until. No, you just work with those calluses, huh?
Yeah, I mean it wasn't anything that was harmful. Calluses actually help you to a certain point because when you start playing guitar, well, those strings are live wire. Sometimes it hurts.
I can imagine.
Bit,
Oh yeah, but I kind of had a lesson or two with the guitar. Lord have mercy, I just don't have enough time in my life to get over those calluses and do something productive there.
Those darn calluses.
Yeah, and I admire people like you that can actually do the electrical thing in your head. All that electricity sending the signal to the fingers, and wow, that's just amazing.
Yeah, I would learn by ear again. I would learn. Let's say Johnny B. Good at the time was very famous, still is.
Yeah.
One of his most popular songs, and I would just learn them by ear. I know every note that he played.
Gee, wow, that's
it
great.
It take me a while,
You betcha. Yeah. Hey, we're gonna take just another little break here, and when we come back, let's talk about a friend that is a mutual friend. Your friend, my friend. She's so beautiful, and her initials are NF. Roberto Fresquez. We shall be right back and talk about one fabulous promoter here in New Mexico that has made a lot of the folks who play and entertain their lives much more enriched because of Roberto Fresquez. So please stay with us. We'll be right back. Hi there. The Spanglish Show with Nelson Martinez proudly welcomes our new sponsors. That's right, La Mexicana Tortilla Company. Oh boy, it'll bring you the greatest food and taste and service every time. Thank you to you and Flor de las Flores Dispensary, your go-to spot for care and good service. Thank you. Gracias for supporting our show and community. Really nice to hear that. Stay tuned and stay connected. Okay, we're back again. Thank you for all our sponsors again. We just got some new sponsors that I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. La Mexicana restaurant on right off of Fourth La Mexicana Tortilla Company, basically. And I can't tell you how I appreciate Margie and her son and everybody who has come on board and help us to entertain y'all with some pretty good stories. And also, we like to, Flor de las Flores is another sponsor, your dispensary that'll help you get better, I suppose. And you don't, you just have to go out there and what do you mind? Patronize. That's the word I'm looking for. Patronize our sponsors. I really appreciate that. And today we've got a special guest again, and we're going to wrap it up here with Roberto Griego. How you doing again? You've been just all over the map here in New Mexico with your wonderful music. We're going to hear some of that as we go along with the interview. You just have a great voice, and people just love it.
Well, shucks.
Oh, shucks.
I try.
You're very humble.
It's important to be humble.
No, it is essential, that's for sure. Let's talk about a dear friend of ours, a mutual friend, Norberta Fresquez, as I mentioned. She's just a wonderful lady.
We call her Norby for short.
We call her Norby for short, that's for sure. So tell me about when you first met Norby and what exactly, how did she help you? What did she do for you?
I think she had initially saw me on the Val de la Ocho, and she contacted Val or somebody, or perhaps she called a radio station. I'm not sure, but she contacted me. She said she wanted to book me, and she decided that she was going to book me at some of the bigger venues. The first place that she booked me was the convention center downtown.
Well, that's
here in Albuquerque.
Not too shabby there.
Not too shabby. And she did all the promotion. She booked the band and I, and there was times when she had people open up for me, or I'd open up for other people too. Probably the biggest venue that she booked me at was at Tingley Coliseum.
Ooh, doggy, that's a big prize.
10,000 people.
Yes.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
People there.
Were you nervous?
Oh, Jesus, was I?
But the first time, no?
One of my legs was shaking like a leaf on a windy day. Yeah.
Oh,
you know,
God.
And Val de la O booked me there too. He had me open up for Jose Alfredo Jimenez.
Oh my God, you're kidding me. No. The big Jose Alfredo Jimenez.
I got to meet him.
Whoa, blessings.
He was in his dressing room with Alicia Juarez. I don't know if that was his wife or his girlfriend at the time, but I told Valentino, I says, I want to, not to get away from Norby, but I told Valentino, I says, I'd like to meet him, you know. So, well, he's in the dressing room over there. Just go in there. Are you sure? He says, yeah. Okay, so I walked in there, and he was just kicking back for the meantime before his show, but I got to open up for Jose Alfredo with Mariachi de Nampa. And then after that, Norby or Norberta started booking me at Tingley Coliseum, you know, the Spanish Village.
And what kind of group did you have then at the time? 2-3 pieces or what? Trumpets, guitar, what?
Well, when she booked me at Tingley, she had me perform with the best mariachi, or they're rated #1 in the world. Mariachi
Vargas de Tecalitlan. You sang with Vargas de Tecalitlan?
Yes, I was very lucky, dude.
Oh my God!
As a matter of fact, on one of my CDs, my 9th one, I have a picture with them in the background. Because after I did my show, I asked them, I says, you know, one of them, or the leader maybe, I asked them, I would love to take a picture with you guys. And I had hired a photographer. And they said, sure. It was like 12 or 13 of them.
That was with Jose Alfredo or with
who? That was with Mariachi Vargas.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But Mariachi Vargas booked me, or not booked me, but Norta booked me, but they're the ones that backed me up there. I think it was in 78, something like that.
Do you remember what you sang when you sang with?
I don't recall. I don't think there were any of my songs. I think there were songs that Mariachi Vargas knew.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
They're
but Norta,
they're the best.
Maybe Norta requested that I sing certain songs with them that they already knew.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, no problem. And wow.
How many songs did you sing with Vargas?
I'm guessing maybe 3 or 4. You know.
Wow.
Yeah.
I sang one song with Mariachi Sol de Mexico. I was emceeing the show at Tingley. Mm-hmm. And Jose, of course, we had rehearsed it beforehand because you don't sing unless you rehearse with the group, right? So we'd rehearse it, and I knew it was coming, but he says, well, right at the close of their section, the Jose Hernandez with Solemeco, right? It was their last thing. There's 15 mariachis dressed in white hats, you know, that whole deal. It was a wonderful thing. He said, well, we understand Nelson Martinez likes to sing. And I go, oh, here we go. I was shaking, like you say, kind of shaking, because, you know, it's a tough one out there when you're facing all these people and you're hoping everything will go well. So I did. I went out there and I sang Sabor a Mi.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God, surrounded by this. Yeah. It was just electric for the standpoint of the privilege to sing with such a great group. That was the best.
Yeah, Jose Hernandez has a fantastic mariachi.
Or does he? He does. And he himself is such a musician, such a director. He's a genius, if you ask me. I mean, he worked with me on my album with the ladies that he had. He had Mariachi Reina de Los Angeles. That was under his umbrella. And so with them and him at the direction of the whole group, recorded that album, Muy Bésame Mucho, with the one that's Michael Martin Murphy's song of Land of Enchantment. But boy, he is still active in so much and backing the super big groups. Miguel, what's his name? Miguel, whatever. Jeez, I forgot his name.
Yeah, but getting back to Norby, I really appreciate all that she has done for me in the past.
And there's Norby right there in that camera. You tell Norby something.
Norby, baby, thank you so much. Thank you so much. She put me in some very big venues and had me, perform with. Vargas. Come on, they're rated number one. You know,
and boy,
not to take away from the other good mariachis.
No. Oh yeah, no,
I didn't rate them. Somebody else did. But I was very fortunate to perform with them.
Anybody is. My gosh, they're so good. Pedro, ¿cómo se llamaba? El mero mero that was at the time. He was the director of that. Pedro Pite. Oh, no me acuerdo. No. This was Martinez. He was a Martinez, that I remember. Okay. And by golly, I can't remember. I thought about it during Norberta's interview that I did, and we talked about him and how he was a manager for a certain time or the head of it. But anyway, yeah, back to Norberta again, not to get away from her, but she's been outstanding. I worked with her very closely when I was at Channel 7 to see what she was up to, and she'd invite me over to the classes. You know, they have classes during Mariachi Spectacular. And so it starts on a Wednesday of the week that they're going to do the show out there in Tingley. And, and this time, the last few times it's been at Sandia. So anyway, she's been quite the leader of that whole thing.
She's helped a lot of entertainers, a lot of singers, a lot of musicians.
Well, I've interviewed her, so it's in some past episodes there that you can look up, and you'll catch up on our friend Norberta Fresquez. So anyway, let's take another pause real quick, and then we'll really have to wrap it up today. We're running out of time. But nevertheless, it's been such a trip to talk to you one-on-one here, Roberto. You've got quite the following. So hold any final thoughts there. We're going to be right back as soon as the commercials are over, per se. And we want to thank those folks who have been so super duper, including Mark Padilla, executive producer of this podcast. He's quite the guy. He's so talented, and he's the owner of Lessman's Pro Audio Video, and even studio. He's got, oh my God, he's got all kinds of things. You call him and he'll figure it out what it is you want to do to promote your stuff. So anyway, we're going to be right back. Don't you dare go away. Por favor, stick around. Hi there. The Spanglish Show with Nelson Martinez proudly welcomes our new sponsors. That's right, La Mexicana Tortilla Company. Oh boy, it'll bring you the greatest food and taste and service every time. Thank you to you and Flor de las Flores Dispensary, your go-to spot for care and good service. Thank you. Gracias for supporting our show and community. Really nice to hear that. Stay tuned and stay connected. Hi, we're back again. I'm Nelson Martinez with the Spanglish Show. And if you want to get a hold of me somehow or another, go to my webpage. Very simple, Nelson Martinez. TV, as in television, TV.com, NelsonMartinezTV.com. And you'll see a section there where you can write me and suggest people I can interview at New Mexican that's having a good time, either in music or any other profession. Perhaps they're retired. You'll see some of the stuff that I've recorded already with, for example, retired Chief Justice of the New Mexico Supreme Court, Patricio Serna. He's on there. What a great interview. He has great stories. We have the ambassador to Spain, former ambassador, Ed Romero. He's we're going to post that shortly, within the next couple of weeks anyway. You can find the episodes on my webpage as well. We've got the Espinosa family. They are wonderful. Mom and dad nurtured a young boy by the name of Santiago Espinosa, or he goes by Santiago Alberto. Have you heard this young man sing? Whoa, wait till you hear it. You can download his stuff. Meanwhile, let's wrap up this great segment that I have here going with the other star. Among the stars is Roberto Griego. Thanks again, Roberto, for being here. It's wonderful to hear your take on the music industry of your level. It's pretty darn good. Very impressive.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
You betcha. And we do our thing with people that help us. They help us quite a bit to move along. And we were just talking about Roberta Frescas.
That's right. Awesome promoter and very humble person. You know, for being a promoter from Albuquerque that has booked people like Antonio Aguilar, Vicente Fernandez, Vicente Fernandez's son, so many national and international artists.
Fíjate.
She has booked the big boys, you know.
Oh, yeah, and this is the Spanglish, though, so we got to throw in a little Spanish in there. We're getting carried away, which is okay. Spanish is such a romantic language, and I always like to interweave because most of us understand a little Spanglish, a little Spanish, a little English. But nevertheless, that's what we're trying to do here. And encourage people, don't forget the Spanish language. It's great. Even French, learn French too. The more you learn different languages, the more marketable you are, if you will, for any business, any profession you may have. Yeah. And you've done that. You speak Spanish well.
Well, thank you. I try. When I was in Rio Grande, when I was a junior, a sophomore, a junior, and a senior, I took Spanish. And little did I know at the time that later on it was going to help me to write songs.
Well, sure.
Yeah, I was, at the risk of sounding like I'm bragging, I used to get A's and B's in Spanish class. I got better grades in the Spanish classes than I did in English. But I love both languages.
Yeah.
It's just that I'm glad that I took Spanish in high school.
Yeah.
Again, little did I know at the time that they're going to help me to write songs later on, because I would make the time to learn Spanish, correctly,
I told my followers too that I went to school in Los Alamos and I took Spanish. I thought, that's an easy course. I know Spanish, it's my first language. So I got into the class and a cousin of mine also took it. We took it together. And Mrs. Anderson was her name, bless her heart. But she wasn't from here, don't you? As George Lopez used to say. She's not from around here, don't you? But no, she wasn't, because you could tell it was very structured Spanish. Mm-hmm. But that's what we needed, the correct Spanish. We couldn't say sute for suit, sino traje and all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. But I used to make fun of her just quietly, and she would see that I was mocking her, so to speak. She'd say the funniest things to say the opposite of what we used to call it, whatever the word was. But she was catching on that I was a little sassy kid. And sure enough, would you believe, passing grade in Los Alamos at the time was a 65. I got the final total for the year, 64 I got. And I go, what? 1 point? And I've ruined the whole school term. I went, and Mrs. Anderson.
That's 64.
Oh my God. Well, I said, Mrs. Anderson, for Pete's sake, can you give me my test scores? I can't believe I failed the course. And so I added it up, all the test scores, the finals and all of every quarter. And it was one what was it, 1/4 of a point, I think, or even less, eighth of a that she could have kind of bent the rules and so to speak and passed me for the year. And I said, you couldn't.
Wait a minute, you didn't pass?
But no, I didn't. And she said to me, I said,
That's
you couldn't give me
because
that
you made
point.
fun of her.
I said, you couldn't give me that little point, that extra little number, Mr. Martinez. No, she said, Senor Martinez, do you think you deserved it? I was stunned. No, I guess I didn't, because I was mocking her lots of stuff, El borrador. I forget the little eraser, how they call that, or they call this, and she called it something different, which was the correct way. But, if you talk like that in the group of our buddies in the valley and that kick your butt or something.
Well, I was raised with the New Mexican Spanish, which is correct for New Mexico, I think.
Yeah.
But it's always good to learn Spanish, let's say, from Spain or Mexico, and which helped me a lot, again, because I would get interviewed in some radio stations in Mexico and Juarez, and my Spanish wasn't perfect, and I asked the public to consider that I was from New Mexico, and my Spanish wasn't as good as I wanted it to be or it should have been.
But they talk fast.
But they accepted me. They accepted me, as a New Mexican singer, and they accepted my Spanish, So everything was cool,
Well, you're very humble. There's no question, and that's why I think people, they're drawn to you.
Yeah.
They don't feel threatened by your music or whatever, and it's good. It's always good. Music heals everything.
That's right.
As Alberto would say, Santiago Alberto, I noticed how clean cut he is and all of that, and he's so young and sings so beautifully. And we were talking about how some people just turn to drugs, and he said, "My drug is music." Isn't that the truth, boy?
I used to tell people I have notes running in my veins.
Notes running in your veins. That's for sure. You got to have that passion, huh?
Yes, sir.
So anything else you want to say before we sign off here?
Well, I want to thank you once again for having me here, for promoting me and my music. And for those of you out in the audience there, if you want to know where to get my music, I've lost a lot of the brick and mortar stores. I still have, let's say, 20, 25, 30 maybe. But they can, if they want to get hold of my music, they can get it on iTunes. Thanks to my daughter Roberta, I had her several years ago. She's a married lady now. She's got a couple of boys, and I asked her several years ago. I said, Roberta, can you do me a favor? I said, what's that, Dad? I said, can you upload my music to iTunes? I said, I'll try, and she did it.
Yeah,
so
you can actually. It's amazing the people you can reach through iTunes and all of the rest of it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, all 10 full-length CDs. She uploaded all my music at iTunes. So people, if you want to download, it's only 99 cents a song, which is a pretty good deal, I think. And I get some decent checks from iTunes. And then some of my music, I think it's the first album she put on Amazon, and then she's got her own website where she sells my music too.
Oh, wow.
On eBay.
So with Amazon, that they have Amazon Music where you talk to Alexa. Mm-hmm. So if somebody says, Alexa, play Roberto Griego, almost said the
I don't know
Lieutenant
about Alexa. I'm not sure. I have to ask my daughter about that.
I'm sure you'll be there. There's several local artists like Carlos Medina. He's a singer and a comedian. And I was surprised one day. I said, I wonder if his music is on there. And so I said, hey, Alexa, play Carlos Medina.
Yeah, is he from Las Vegas?
Bingo. Yeah. So
I met the dude. Yeah.
Pretty good. Very talented. Yeah. Very talented. So at any rate, hey, this has been fun. I really appreciate
I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
I really
enjoyed it. And I hope the public enjoys it. And don't forget to back up Mr. Martinez.
Hey, that's a nice cup.
Spanglish show. I have my glasses on.
Hey, pretty good. Thank you for that. Yeah, the Spanglish show is on coffee cups now. So, and again, my webpage is nelsonmartineztv.com, and you'll learn lots of things in there, including our executive producer, Mark Padilla, who has provided the studio here for us.
Mark. Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Mark. You know him very well, too.
Yes, I do.
He's a talented gentleman that has made things possible for this podcast. Put it on, Facebook and on my webpage and YouTube. It's even on YouTube. So that means your interview hopefully goes way crazy, you
There's a
know.
lot of my stuff on YouTube, yeah.
So yeah,
And you know, videos and stuff like that. Performances where I performed, you know, different places. You know how people are, they record you on their cell, they put you on YouTube or Spotify or whatever, you know.
sure.
And but once again, at our finale here, thank you to Mark, and thank you very much for having me here. I'm really appreciative, and Raza, keep on listening to Mr. Martinez
That's nice of
and
you.
checking the guy out.
No, that's good of you. Roberto Griego, thank you again for making the time to chit-chat a little bit, and we'll have you back. Mucho gusto.
Igualmente, gracias.
Qué bonito. Bueno, gracias and thank you. Gracias a ustedes por andar escuchando. Your time is valuable, I know that, but you kill some time, you know, listening to some good stories.
It's not as valuable that I can't be here. It's not that valuable that I can't be here.
That's right. Well, good. I'm glad you joined us, and again, ahí nos vemos en otras pizcas, as they say. We'll see you later, and again, thank you, Roberto.
Hasta
Very
la
nice.
vista, gracias.
Hasta la vista. Bye-bye.
Adios.
Hi there. The Spanglish Show with Nelson Martinez proudly welcomes our new sponsors. That's right, La Mexicana Tortilla Company. Oh boy, it'll bring you the greatest food and taste and service every time. Thank you to you and Flor de las Flores Dispensary, your go-to spot for care and good service. Thank you. Gracias for supporting our show and community. Really nice to hear that. Stay tuned and stay connected.
The Spanglish Show with Nelson Martinez.